Greetings folks, Chris here and welcome to yet another on the Citizen Carry channel. And folks, what I'm going to discuss today is geared more towards the newer concealed carriers, although there are some older concealed carriers that could stand to benefit from some of this as well. Because there's no shortage of videos out there, as you know, of YouTube channels that are covering the common concealed carrier mistakes, how not to let your gun show and all of that other stuff. There's really a basic set of things that you should avoid, but there's also an alternative set of things that a lot of people don't think about, and I'm going to try to cover those. A lot of these are talking about things from a potential legal standpoint, and as well as upholding the appearance of gun carriers in the United States in general to avoid douchebag mistakes that really work against us in the public opinion. But first, and the most important thing, is the legal type of stuff. But I'm going to preface before I begin by saying that I am not a legal expert and I am not in law enforcement. I'm just covering this stuff because these are things that I know can work against us in one way or another as concealed carriers. But I will start with one of the most basic things that a concealed carrier should not do, and it's probably covered by all the other channels, and that is that at no point ever should your gun leave its holster unless you're in the process of defending your life. At no point ever should you be pulling your gun out of the holster to show people what type of gun you have. And I know for a lot of new carriers and stuff like this is a life change, concealed carry, and it's exciting to some extent. And maybe some of your friends or whatever you want to show your firearm to, but it is considered to be universally impolite to draw your weapon from its holster. And from a legal standpoint, and in a lot of jurisdictions, it could be brandishing your firearm or worse. The minute your firearm, no matter what your intention is, the minute your firearm comes out of the holster, your legal landscape has changed. It was probably a life-changing event the minute you pulled that gun out of that holster. And it doesn't matter why you wanted to do it. So never remove your gun from its holster. Not even if your friends want to see it, do it in a private setting with a properly safety-checked weapon or whatever later on, but never, ever in public should you ever remove your gun from its holster. That is urgent, as a matter of fact. Don't ever, even in public, don't even refer to your gun. Because otherwise, certain jurisdictions are a lot more punitive about it than others, but it's never a good situation when you do it. The next thing that a lot of people don't think about is that they have a firearm and they want a lighter trigger and they get trigger work done to it, or they get performance modifications done to their firearms to make them more like race guns, faster, lighter triggers and stuff like that. But it's not really a good idea to modify your carry firearm from its original stock configuration. You don't want to do that. That could work against you in court as well. Now you want to try to think about the prosecuting attorney that's trying to nail you because you had to defend your life. And so you're in a civil suit, and the prosecuting attorney, what they're going to do is they're going to try to make you look like the crazed, psychotic, mentally unstable killer that wanted to go out and kill people easily and quickly. It does not matter if that's what your attitude was. It does not matter if that's the kind of person you are. That's what they're going to try to make you look like in court. And one of the things that they will look at is what you used as your firearm. Now, you don't want to forget that lawyer is going to be in front of that jury, which, by the way, they hand-selected because they thought it was going to give them optimal results in court. And they are going to be there saying, he wanted a hair trigger. He wanted that trigger to be easier to pull because he wanted to kill more people quickly. And they're going to paint this big, ugly picture of the kind of person you most likely are not. And these are the sort of things that you want to avoid. So it's not a real good idea to have your gun modified from its original configuration. And within that same topic, another thing that you even more urgently want to avoid is you don't want to remove the safety or tamper with the safeties on your firearms if they were provided. Remember, they're trying to paint a picture of somebody with a complete disregard for safety and life. And if you've tampered with the safety on your firearms, that just affirms their position. So if you've got the kind of firearm that, say, has a magazine disconnect safety, don't mess with it. Don't modify that. Instead, go get yourself a firearm that doesn't have a magazine disconnect safety. But don't modify the gun from its original stock configuration. That could really work against you in court. Now, another thing that you want to avoid is decorating your firearm with things which, if you end up in court and you are on defense and you had to defend your life, You don't want your firearm or any of the clothes you wear or anything like that to reflect somebody who's trying to be a badass. So what I'm getting at is maybe stay away from the gun grips that have the Punisher skull or a skull and crossbones, or words, pictures, slogans, and phrases, like kill them all, let God sort them out later and stuff like that. Because their job in court, if they're the prosecution, their job is to make you look like a killer in waiting, mentally unstable. And if you have anything like that on your firearms, they're going to make it look like what was on your firearm reflects what kind of person you are. And that will definitely work against you in court too. So avoid any of that badassery on your firearms. It may be cool from a teenager kind of point of view, but it can really work against you in court. Now, along those same lines, this even comes down to the type of ammunition you choose. Say, for example, the radically invasive projectile. Now, how do you think that's going to fare in court when you've got the prosecution up there saying, look at this, the radically invasive projectile, RIP. It even says it on the box. It says RIP, rest in peace. It looks like you were trying to kill somebody. They're not even going to say radically invasive projectile. They're going to say, and look at this ammunition he used to kill Mr. Smith. Rest in peace. And they're going to leave it at that. Remember, they don't have to be fair. And you might very well stand up in court and say, that means radically invasive projectile. And then they'll go, oh, radically invasive projectile. That's a big hole that you would be digging for yourself by just your selection of ammunition. You want to avoid ammunition that have on the box stuff like zombie killer or any other words or slogans or anything that points to or alludes to the wanton killing or taking of life. They're going to try to make you look like someone who is out there to take lives. And so you don't want to give them that ammunition against you. So remember, folks, it may be legal for manufacturers to make this stuff for you to put on your guns, the clothes you wear, the ammunition choices. You could buy all of that stuff that makes you look like Billy Badass when you go out in the streets. But remember, when you get down to that jury, you're not going to look like Billy Badass anymore in that courtroom. You're going to look like Mousy Michael. You're going to be sitting there taking on a dramatic life change and watching your money and your life go bye-bye, because you could end up behind bars simply because the jury got the impression that you were a person that went out there and wanted to kill. So these are the types of things that you should avoid. What we're trying to do as a gun community is demonstrate that we are mature, trustworthy, sane people out there exercising their Second Amendment rights with the competent ability to protect ourselves and perhaps others in our surroundings. We don't want to ruin that with an image that we're projecting that may not very well be the types of people that we are. So you want to keep that sort of stuff in mind as a concealed carrier. It's not only that you get to protect your life, it's what kind of image are you projecting. But that's all I've got for this one, folks. I told you I was going to keep it quick. My name is Chris, and I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so you can be alerted when I'm coming out with more content. And I appreciate you guys watching. My email address is scrolling across the bottom of the screen as we speak right now. That's tooimproper@gmail.com. Right, and I will answer you, provided you're going to be polite about whatever it is you have to say, and if I've got the time. God bless America, and keep on protecting your families, yourselves, your country, its flag, and its honor. It's the patriotic thing to do, and it is the right thing to do.